everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaley Gray, and I'm making weekly videos about life, faith, and relationships. And this week, we are doing something completely new. I've never done this before, but I have my friend Buffy on Zoom with me. She lives in Indiana, and we actually met for the first time. It was this time last year that we met a year ago in Nashville. We met through a social media group. But one special thing about Buffy is she is also an Iowa girl. And so us Iowa girls, we have to stick together. And so I'm just so excited for her to be on the vlog. I've been wanting you on, but you know, our distance kind of makes things a little bit harder. And so, but Buffy's amazing. She's been married to her husband for almost 11 years, right?
11 in May, yep.
Yeah, so exciting. And then she has two cute little boys. And about 2 years ago, she started it's an online boutique, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's mainly for boy clothes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we offer both, but I started it with the intention of carrying more boy options.
Yeah.
So,
which is really rare to find. So I will have all of those links and everything below because she's so much fun. I love her. And she also is a Married at First Sight fan. And so we usually text weekly, like, did you watch this? And like catching up. And so it's just so much fun. So it's just so crazy just to think like how social media really brought this friendship together. But she's, you know, somebody I will tell like if I'm talking to or like get advice from. And so I'm so thankful for her. And so I was like, we need to talk about misconceptions of first dates. And so I know it's been a little bit since you've had a first date, Buffy, which, you know, is good. But do you have like any like first date stories you want to share?
Let's see. I'll save my one with my husband because he was probably the best first date. Like I even wrote it all down because I never wanted to forget it and all of that. But in college, I ended up going to a Christian college. I went to Evangel University, and like I had a lot of guy friends in high school because just girls can just sometimes be mean. So I just got along better with the guys in my youth group. And so I had been around Christian guys, but it was like nothing like huge. So then when I went to college, like you're like surrounded by all these new like people and all these new boys that, you know, they in my head, they all love Jesus and all this stuff. So well, but I'm also like can be super naive. So in college, I actually think I went on at least 2 dates that I did not know were dates. Like I thought these guys just wanted to like hang out and wanted to be, you know.
Oh man.
So I feel really bad because I ended up like some of my like floor mates knew them and they ended up having to tell me like, no, they liked you. Like they thought it was I was like, oh,
Get out. Like
I was like, I was just hanging out. I thought he just wanted to take me to sushi because I had never had sushi. He was like, oh, I'm going to take you to sushi. And I was like, awesome.
that's so funny. I know. I feel like there is sometimes that hard to tell, like unless they are like saying, hey, do you want to go on a date? It's really hard to tell. You're almost like second guessing, like, is this a date? Is this not a date? And
Yeah. Well, because like most of my like past relationships, they, well, like in high school, it wasn't like, oh, let's go on a date. It was just more of like, you start hanging out and then it just develops into something. So that's what I was used to. I wasn't used to actually being asked out on a date and stuff like that. So, because most of like relationships I've been in, they all start out as friendships, which I think is good. I think that is good. And so like that's kind of how me and my husband started out. I had moved here because I had previously been engaged because I went to that Christian school, started dating someone, and they did the whole ring by spring thing. I remember when he proposed, I was like counting in my head. I was like, oh, it's only been a few months. Like, what is going on? But I was super young. I was like 19. And so, yeah, I was 19 or 20. And I was like, okay, yeah. And then it ended up not working out, which it was a God thing, thank God. Because then I had moved here, but I wasn't living with a boy before I was married. So I had my own place. And then that relationship ended, the engagement ended, all that. well, most of the people here in my church are all married that were my age. Like they were all married. So I was always like the ninth wheel, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And my husband, he was one of the other only single people. And so we just kind of started hanging out because we were just tired of being like the fifth wheel all the time. So we're like, let's just hang out and we can watch TV or watch movies. And we just like developed a friendship through that summer. And then we were like, oh, I think like I'm starting to like you. So
Aw.
I was like, well, I want to like make things different. Like I want to actually go on a date, like so that I can say it was the first date, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so we live on the south side of Indianapolis, and downtown Indy, they have this canal. Like there's like it's really gross water. Like I swear it's like sewage water. I don't know. I would never get it. But it's really cute. Like the canal is like I think it's like 2 miles long. It does this big circle kind of thing. And then you're downtown Indianapolis, so you get to see all that kind of stuff. So we started out, we went to Carrabba's for dinner,
Yeah.
and then we went downtown and walked the canal, just like hung out and we were talking and stuff. Well, there's also like I guess it would be called like a minor league baseball team here in Indy, and it was a Friday night. So their thing is at on Friday nights during the summer, they shoot off fireworks. So we
Yeah.
like stopped, like it was towards the end of our date, and then fireworks were going off. So like that's super awesome. Like was
Their
this
first
plan?
kiss, maybe?
No,
Okay, I didn't know if the fireworks. No.
no. um, I might have already kissed him before that, so it was not a first kiss.
Getting all the tea today.
No. We might have had a first kiss before our first date, but
Okay.
you know,
So funny.
that's when you're like, I don't think we're just friends anymore. I think we should go on a date.
I had that happen one time with a guy. I was like, I'm not going to kiss you anymore until we are official and you take me on a date.
Yes, yes, that's because he was getting ready to go back to Evangel for school, and I was going to stay here and go to beauty school because I had originally started off with majoring in nursing, and I went and worked in a hospital for a while, and I just decided it wasn't for me, but I always loved the beauty industry. So then I was like, well, while I'm in between, I'll just go to beauty school. And
Yeah.
I found one here. So he was going to go back and I was going to stay here.
Okay.
And so I was like, before you go back, let's just go on a date.
Oh,
And then so then he brought me home that evening to like my apartment, and we like put on some cute music or whatever, and we danced in my living room, and it was really cute. It was really sweet.
that's so sweet. I danced on my first date too with a guy, but it was like under the stars and it was so sweet. Like
Oh,
I love it when like guys make like our first date like so special and memorable for
yes.
you. And it's not just like, oh, let's go do this. Like it's like definitely thought out and planned. And I think that just speaks volumes. Because here, years later, you're still talking about it.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
still special to you.
Yeah, because the next day I had to work, and I when I had some downtime at work, so I like wrote everything out because I was like, I do not want to forget this. Like that was just awesome.
So sweet. I love that. I know I don't really have like any horrible first date thing like dates, which is like I guess a good thing that we don't
Yeah.
have any bad ones. And I remember a guy like we were talking like long distance, and so we met in the middle, and it was at a place we both like hadn't been around. And what I thought was really neat about it is he had gotten there 30 minutes earlier, that he later told me, to like walk around, look around to see what there was for us to do. So that once we got done eating, then he had a plan for afterwards, because we had stopped somewhere to go to the bathroom. I think I went to a gas station to like go to the bathroom, and he goes, oh, you have to get the key first. And I'm like, how do you know that? He goes, oh, I was here earlier to like scope things out. And I was like, oh, I was like, that's really sweet of you, to do that. So but yeah, I know friends that have had horrible first dates, and maybe, if you're watching right now, you've had a horrible first date, like don't let that stop you from going on another one. Like
Right. Because
it's
sometimes like nerves can like,
oh yeah.
be like just kind of either you messed up and you feel like it was horrible, or like maybe he was super nervous and he just needs like a second chance. Because
Yeah.
I had one that like, again, we had been friends before, and then we tried going on a date, and I put like way too much pressure. Like in my head, I was like, ugh. So
Yeah.
I kind of like ruined it because I was like, I feel like we just need to be friends. Like I
Yeah.
was like thinking way too long term, and I was like still in high school. So
Yeah. And speaking of pressure, I feel like people put so much pressure on first dates.
mhm.
It is so, I mean, I think a lot of times when you're going into a first date, girls are thinking like, is this going to be my future husband? Like, does my name sound good with his last name? And can I see him being the father of my children? Like,
Right.
be real, like that's
And you
something.
don't even like know all about him yet.
Exactly. You like maybe saw his Instagram profile and you're like, okay, yeah, and so I think there's just so much pressure with first dates. And I think a lot of times the goal should be is you should be getting to know that person better than when you first met them. And like I
Yeah.
think that's the goal. And I think keep it like lighthearted and fun. Like
Yes.
of course, if like characteristics, like if they don't match up like character, then don't go on the first date. But like we said, like a type, like if you have a type and this person's not your type, don't just shoot them down.
Right. Because you'll never know.
No, I mean, personally, like, I'm not a huge camper. And if this person like loved camping all the time, like, who knows? Maybe I would like camping with them. And just because I don't like camping in general doesn't mean like I don't like camping at all. It's like, I think all about the person that you're
Right.
memories with.
Exactly. Like maybe you'll like grow to like what they like and stuff.
Yeah.
So for
I
sure.
No, I think so too. And so I think when you're getting to know somebody, like on a first date, you cannot make it an interview. I know
Yeah.
half the time, like that is kind of what it's like. You're almost interviewing them because you want to get to know them. But I think when like somebody is genuine and they like truly like want to get to know me, they're not just like, asking me all these random questions, but they're like being genuine about it. And I think that like I walk out leaving like, wow, like that was like a really good time. Like I could tell that person like really cared. They were acknowledging things. They had good eye contact, good body language. And I think that's huge because a lot of times people are just like on their phones or just like, yeah, sure. Oh yeah, that sounds good. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, you wanna feel comfortable with them, like, let it just, like, flow. Like, you don't wanna you may have a checklist of things that you want, but you don't wanna bust out your checklist and be like, "Okay, so, um, what's your stance on kids? How many kids do you want? And how fast do you want kids?" Like, stuff like that.
Exactly. You can't do that because really by the end of the first date, you should really only be thinking about, do we want to go on a second date? Like,
Right.
was this fun? Like, did we get along enough to like want to go on the second date? And I mean, I've said this in other vlogs, like I'm all about activities on first dates, like dinner, coffee, like, yeah, that's fun. But I almost feel like there's just so much pressure of like that interview style where you're wanting to interview them. One time on a date, like we went out to eat and then we just walked around for like an hour and just like talked about random things. And I loved that. And I like got to see his personality and like get to know him and we could joke around and talk. And it just was like so comfortable and casual because we were both like just walking and talking. We weren't just like sitting there interviewing one another.
Right, and that's how that I agree. I think those are the best types, like, go get some food so you're not hangry, but then, like, maybe just, like, go somewhere that you can, like, walk and, like, talk and just to, like, kind of, like, just, like, go with the flow type thing. Or, like, do some like, a fun activity, like you said, like, go, like, axe throwing or to, like, Topgolf or something. I wouldn't recommend a movie because then, like
Oh,
well, I don't even know if you can go to movies anymore,
that's
but
true. I know. Yeah, but or watch a movie, like come over, like that is not.
no, not for your first date, because you wanna be able to, like, you know, talk, and what if they're the type that, like, they don't like when you interrupt a movie or something like that, and so then there could be, like, those awkward,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Do I talk? Do
Movie
I
day,
not?" Like
movie day, like later down the road, like figure it out. Um,
right.
I think another huge thing when you're going on a first date with somebody, and this is especially like in the Christian realm, like in the church world, like, because a lot of times your paths cross with other people. Do not tell the whole world that you are going on a date with somebody because once you tell one person, it just like it just was this ripple effect. And then soon it gets back to the guy, and then he's like all this pressure, and he's just like, this was just like a date just to get to know this person. And then there's just so much pressure on both of you, like when all these people know, and you're just like, oh my gosh, everyone thinks we're supposed to get married because we just went out on this date. And
Right, exactly. Or they're like they're either for it or against it, and they're like trying to put their opinions on it when you haven't even gone on the date yet.
exactly,
Because
exactly.
I think it was like a couple days later from our first date, we had just been hanging out. Like we hadn't really made it like public knowledge that there was more than just friendship feelings there, because he used to be best friends with my ex fiance. So I just didn't want the judgment. I didn't, and we were out at this mall, and we were holding hands, and we saw a couple from our church, and we even like kind of like got nervous, like, do we continue to hold hands, because now they're gonna know, like there's, you know
Yeah.
so, but then we were like, I don't even care anymore, but because it had been like a little while later, but we just hadn't.
Yeah.
But if you put that pressure out there, now if it's like a blind date or something like that, I say at least tell someone so they know where you are.
I had like location on like my phone. I was like, okay, this is where I'm at. Like, send an SOS
Yes.
for me. I'll check in.
Have like a code to a girlfriend when if it's like really bad, be like, just call me and come and get me or something like that.
Exactly. I'm sure guys have the same thing. Like, I'm
Oh,
sure.
I'm sure. Wouldn't you like to know what actually goes on in their mind? They think that our minds are crazy, but like really, what goes on in men's minds?
That's actually one thing. I don't think I want to know.
It's true. It really is true. Like, because sometimes when like I know like guy friends hang out and stuff, I'm like, oh, cool. So what you guys talk about? Like, like what do they do? Like, what do I don't know.
No, it is. It's so funny. But first dates aren't bad. Like, it's okay to go on a first date. Like, we recommend going on a date, especially if like things align. But if it's somebody who's not your type, like, give them a shot. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
you really never know.
Yeah,
And
you don't want to judge a book by its cover until you actually get a like leaf through some of the pages.
yeah, I like that. I like that. Leaf through pages. Oh, this was so fun, Buffy. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for being on the channel today.
you're
And I miss
welcome.
you. It's so fun to see you. We haven't seen each other in a year.
I know. I can't believe it's been so long. I just wish like whenever this gets better, we're gonna go on a trip or something.
We
You'll know
are
that.
all get back together, and hopefully
Yeah.
you get to go on your anniversary trip this year and do something
Yes.
fun. And
Yes. Hopefully, like we'll
yeah,
see.
well, thank you so much. And this was so much fun.
Yes,
And
it was. Thank you.
be sure, you guys, if you have not subscribed to this channel, to hit that red button below and follow me on my social media links below. And I can't wait to see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.